What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Stay Tuned. I'm Tony Angelo. This is my YouTube channel, and we're gonna get cracking today on just talking about cars. We're gonna talk about like some of the last 5 muscle cars you can actually still afford to buy. In the last few years, the car market has gone insane. I don't know if you guys know how money works, but clearly I don't. I used to think that someone would go out and make something that was beneficial to other people that they needed or wanted, sell it to them, and then get paid for it. That seems like how money might work. Instead, today, it's like somebody makes money, and then a bunch of computer nerds decide to make their own money.
Welcome to our show, Hack the Planet. Hack the Planet!
We call it a crypto coin, and it's worth nothing, and then it's worth $50,000, and then people are like, oh, you don't understand, like, we absolutely need this thing, and I don't know how the hell that works, and then they're like, oh no, the next level of idiot money is NFTs, and like, they're part of the blockchain, which whatever the that is. They're like, you need them, and I'm like, it's just a picture of a monkey, and they're like, no, you really need this picture of a monkey because it's worth $500,000. And I'm like, damn, I'd like $500,000. That sounds cool. How do I get a picture of a monkey? And like, you can't. You gotta buy this other stuff, and then you buy it. And also, like, it's the most secure thing in the absolute world. Except if you open an email from some hacker with a weird link in it, like, they can take your monkey, and then like, you no longer have the monkey or your $500,000.
That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs.
In the last few years, essentially, cars have become pretty damn expensive. A lot of the stuff that was $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 has all now become $14,000, $15,000, $16,000, and that really seems to be a price point for me that I think is sort of unattainable for, like, an average kid, someone starting out in the hobby. So we're going to focus on, like, this is all stuff we're going to talk about that's like really for someone who's trying to get into the hobby, might have $5,000 or so, and wants to party. And we're going to talk about stuff that wasn't either traditionally cool or I think it's becoming cool again, and that's where we're going to find the values. Look, a 1969 Camaro is not a nice one is not going to cost you $5,000 now or ever. A 1968 Charger isn't going to cost you 20 grand probably for the rest of forever because they're just really iconic, incredible muscle cars, super sought after. As long as the market is strong, you're not going to be able to afford those things trying to dip a toe in, right? But that's where we're going to get a little bit different. Oh, and one thing I want to say, shout out to Grease Monkey Gloves for being just our first and such a big supporter of Stay Tuned. And myself, these are super bitchin' gloves. I use them. They make obviously a million different kinds. These are for busting ghosts, I think, or delivering calves. No, but really they're for using like harsh chemicals and stuff. They're sick. They obviously have regular mechanics gloves and stuff. You can get them at Home Depot. You can get them at Autozone. They are killer. So go out and get some Grease Monkey Gloves. Do it. So here's the 5 cars I think that are probably the best buys right now that you can still afford and get either a decent car or a pretty great car for about $5,000. Number 1, 4th gen F bodies. We're going to talk about a lot of Chevys here, but there's Dodge and Mopar too. We're doing 5. Okay, number 1, 4th gen F bodies. Talking Camaro, Trans Am, Firebird, 1993 to 02. These are cars that are kind of growing back on me again. The styling was really clunky for a while, especially the Trans Ams and Firebirds, but I think that they're a cool car. It's a killer setup. They either come with an LT1, and in 98, I believe, they switch over to the LS for the Z28s and the SSs and the Trans Ams and the Formula Firebirds, all the V8 cars. It's just a very solid platform, right? The early cars are going around $3,000. I've seen them now for an automatic V8 car. That's like an LT1. I think they did 275 horsepower. It's a 14-second car. It's solid. What I like about it, if you're getting into the hobby, is that it's only some of them are about 20 years old instead of buying something that's 50 years old and it's going to be a total disaster in every way. Some of these things are still hanging around in decent shape. So I would say that's a great buy. $5,000 can get you in one. You can put a converter, some headers on the thing, and be running, low 13s, maybe high 12s, depending on the car. And that's a great buy. It's a great car. There's still a ton of them. People have acted like they were uncool, but they're old enough now that I think they're coming on strong. And it's a sweet car. And what's nice is they made 1 billion of them, so it's not hard to find them. Anytime you have a lot of things in the marketplace, you can get a good deal on it. I would say that's number 1. Number 2, let's talk about Fox bodies. Fox body Mustangs, 1979 to 1993. It's a huge long span, and here's the deal. a standard, nice 5-speed 5.0 Fox body is a lot of money now. That was a car that was $3,500 a couple years ago, and you're looking at about $8,000 now. So that's not what we're here to talk about. Great car, great size. I love it. It's got the Windsor motor, T5. It's a 4-link car. It handles pretty good. It has a ton of ability for upgrades because the people have been making hot rod parts for those things for a billion years. It's a great first hot rodding car. But here's the deal. Skip the Mustang. You don't need it. There's a ton of other cars on the Fox body platform. Get an early Mercury Capri. That's almost exactly the same thing. A little bit different window and stuff. It's got a little bit different styling. I actually really like them. Or you can get even weirder. Get yourself an 83 V6 Thunderbird. I had an 83 V6 Thunderbird in high school. It's like a big GT coupe. Fully Fox platform. You can bolt a Windsor motor right in there. You can get a subframe and bolt a 5.3 truck LS in there. You can do whatever you want, and you can still get that car $2,000. No problem. You can get you could even look into a turbo T-Bird, but you don't have to. A turbo coupe's not what you need for this. I'm talking something that takes a V8, something with a carburetor, something you can just have fun with, take to the strip. You can absolutely get in that car at a great price. There's also Ford Fairmonts. You know what I mean? There's, you could get weird and get a Lincoln Mark 7. There's just so much good stuff. But, Fox bodies rule. I think it's time to maybe start looking outside the traditional Mustang GT. It just doesn't, it's just not necessary. It's not the best value anymore. It used to be unbelievable for an 85, 86, get that 4 headlight thing for, for $3,000 or $4,000, and that just doesn't happen anymore. Now it's $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, and that doesn't get me stoked. All right. Well, let's talk now about a Mopar. All right, Mopars are tougher than Ford and Chevy because they took so much time off from building muscle cars. They were just getting all revved up, ready to drop that Hemi back on you in, 05 or whatever they did.
That thing got a Hemi? Yeah.
So there's really nothing to talk about between about 1977 and 2006, and that's fine because what I'm going to tell you right now is a great buy that people are totally sleeping on. 2006 to 2010 Dodge Charger. Get yourself an RT. You can totally do this for $5,000, even a little bit cheaper. I've seen them $3,000 and $4,000. You're going to get, over 300 horsepower, V8, 5.7 V8. Get rid of the displacement on demand thing, the MSD, whatever they call it, and get that thing. Just put a cam in it, put some headers in it, full exhaust, and you will have a total ripper. It's a great car, like similar to the Camaros. It's not even 20 years old yet, but it's a great value for what it is right now. It's got the NAG transmission. It's a 5-speed automatic. They hold a lot of power that came from Mercedes. It's got a similarly stolen from Mercedes rear end setup in it. It's just a good car. And if I was going to spend money and needed something to daily drive, this is what I would grab. If I was like, look, I'm 20 years old, I want to have a hot rod, but I need to use it every day. I can only afford one car. I would probably have a 2007 Dodge Charger RT. It's just such a good value right now, and there's tons of stuff to do to it. And look, those motors, it seems we've had some really good luck with them. We've had a couple of them blow up on us. It just depends on the one you get. Obviously, try to work. There's some oiling mods you can do to keep them alive. But if it blows up, you can save your pennies for a 6.1 or a 6.4, and it all bolts right in. So that's a killer car. I really like that car for this buy. But you can't go wrong. Also, 300Cs, same thing. It's the same car. Similar value, $4,000. You can get a decent one with a V8, and they made a ton of them. All right, now we're gonna get a little bit weird here, and you can call nonsense on this one if you want, but I'm gonna say this: S10 first gen, 82 to 93, right? You're like, that's not even a car. I know it's not, but it sort of is, because it's a little body on frame truck. We built one before an HRG. It was a 4-cylinder truck. It was, manual, little dork machine. We did a couple things to it, but once we dropped in a small block with some suspension mods and painted it all black, that thing was awesome. I absolutely drove it around a ton. I bought it, brought it home. I drove it around a ton. It was a really fun truck. It handled really well, and it's a good size. And to be honest, it just felt like a muscle car to me. I know it's not technically a muscle car. It's a great buy. They are dirt cheap. They are dirt cheap. It's the cheapest thing on this list is a first gen S10. You can get them for like $1,000 or $2,000. You can get it for $3,000 with a V8 kit already in them. I mean, it's stupid how good they are, and you can do a ton of mods to them. But really, like a nice little hot street truck is a really, really cool thing. And if it's your first car, you can do all sorts of stuff with it. You can haul junk with it. You can go to the track with it. It's really fun, and I love them. So get one. It's a great buy. You can do extended cab, long bed, short bed, whatever you want, whatever you need. But just spend some time in one. It's the funnest, stupidest little thing ever because it is so cool. You can't believe it. It just like flipped in my brain one day. I was like, I love this truck.
And it's like a switch that goes on.
And then the last one we're going to talk about is a Chevy Nova, which is like a very iconic and very popular, you know, muscle car. It's traditionally very cool. 68 to 72, kind of the big dog there. But what I'm going to tell you now is don't, you know, and also 66, 67 Chevy 2, one of the coolest cars ever. You know, it's a Nova technically. But here's the deal. Don't look at those. You can't afford them, right? We're talking $5,000. You can't afford either one of those. But what is awesome and what I love here is the 4th gen Nova. That's what I'm talking about. 1975 to 1979. And what I like about this choice, besides the fact that there's a lot of them and they're very affordable, is that they made them smaller. It's a really good car to drive around on the streets today. So that 4th gen Nova is, you know, about the same size as like a Dart. It's what you would call a compact car back then, which is ridiculous. But it's a great car, and you can make it handle awesome. It accepts all sorts of V8s, big block, small block. LS is very easy, and it's essentially just Camaro front and rear end for suspension. And guess who makes parts for Camaros? Everybody. So that's the deal. Get yourself a 75 two-door Nova. They made some SS's. They're not worth spending the money on. Just get a nice, clean, rust-free one. Get a two-door if you want. I'm a two-door guy. I know some people like four doors. Put a rip-roaring, you know, Vortex small block in that thing, 380 horsepower, and you'll have a super fun car. You know, some solid subframe bushings and a bunch of suspension stuff, and you would have an awesome car for probably $5,000. I'm talking about ready to rock. All right, well, that wraps up the list. Let's go over the 5 again really quick. 4th gen F bodies, 93 to 02 Camaro Trans Am Firebird. Killer cars, not that old. Some of them have LS's already. Sweet. Other Fox bodies, Thunderbirds, Fairmonts, Capris, Mark 7s. Buy them. They're awesome. They're still cheap. All the good Mustang parts go on them. Then we've got the 4th gen Dodge Charger, right? Has a Hemi RT, handles pretty good, still a modern car, awesome car. Then you've got S10. Is it a muscle car? I don't know. Am I a liar? Maybe. It doesn't really matter. Fun little truck. What I like about this one is on the list, I'm telling you right now, it's the most affordable. They are the cheapest things out here. And then just to wrap it up, 4th gen Novas. They are killer. They are built on Camaro parts, so there's tons of stuff to make them handle good, and they take motors like it's nobody's business. Great cars, all 5. And really quick, if it looks like a mess behind me, I just want to give you guys a quick update on the Firebird. I reached out last video and I was like, hey, you guys want to send me some 8-track tapes? And I put my PO box in, and I got so many killer tapes. So, I don't know. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much. If you want me to go through 8-track tapes on like a video, let me know. I don't know if that's interesting or not. I'm new to this thing, but that's so cool. I have a rack of them. You can stop sending them. It's killer. I appreciate it so much. The Firebird, I'm on the hunt right now for a 400. I think I've got some leads locally. I'm going to try to buy something this week, and we will be rocking with that thing very soon. All right. That is it for this episode of Stay Tuned. I'm Tony Angelo, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for listening to me rant. Peace.